And welcome back to part 6 of What If Master Roshi adopted Goku. Last time, Nappa and Vegeta had come... Last time on the Dragon Ball Z What If, Nappa and Vegeta had come to Earth. But thanks to the uber meta training that Roshi, Goku, and frankly the entire gang, including Raditz now, got, they pretty much curb stomped the group. When Vegeta had gone into his Uzara form, there was some hesitation, but Goku's Ikari form and just higher power level trumped the Uzara form, even though it's technically the same power multiplier. But Raditz did let them know that they're probably going to be back with reinforcements, bringing Frieza himself into the mix. However, there is a grace period between how long it's going to take them to get there, to recover, and then how long is it going to take Frieza to, show up on Earth. So that's why I'd say they still have about a year's time worth of training. So there's a bit of downtime. Bulma shows up, asks, Goku if he's okay, and he's like, I'm fine. Like, yeah, I'm fine too, babe. And say, oh, Yamcha, good to know that you're okay. And Yamcha's like, what's going on here? And it's like, well, buddy, it's like this. You see, Goku and Bulma are going to be banging at some point. No, but Krillin is like, oh boy, and Roshi's like, my boy, let me tell you a story. And Yum just realized, like, oh no, Bulma's going to leave me. Meanwhile, Kami's been watching the whole affair, and he's like, they've done it again. And, he's a little just, he sighs wearily, and Popo's like, are you alright, Kami? I'm fine, Mr. Popo, it's just I can't help but wonder. Wonder if my time as guardian is coming to an end. What do you mean, Kami? As time goes on, greater and greater threats keep approaching, and I am ill-prepared to take them on. It may be time to pass the mantle on to someone else who can actually actively defend the planet, like Goku and the others do. But who, Kami? Who and why? And where? And where would you find such a person? It won't happen yet, Popo. Arrangements need to be made, but I have been keeping my eye on someone as he gazes down. Now, I'll admit, this idea I saw because of Salad Saiyan, and I gotta admit, I kind of like the idea, so I'm going to be taking that, because it is something that most likely is doable, quite frankly. So, they take a little bit of time to relax, but then Kami contacts him saying that there's no time to waste. Vegeta and Nappa will be back with this being known as Frieza. Frieza, and you must be prepared. Your training will continue at once. Oh, all right, more training. Awesome. Actually, Goku, would you and Roshi please accompany me up to the lookout? There's something we need to discuss. And so Roshi and Goku go to the lookout. Raditz is now kind of hanging in the group, even though he's not truly one of the group. It'll take a little longer for that to happen. He's actually acclimating pretty well to the group. Plus, there's enough of them stronger than him to keep him in check should he try to do something, or close enough to his own power level. But Kami, Goku, and Roshi are both there. Roshi, Goku, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to discuss with you. What did you plan to do for your training? It's like, this Frieza is as strong as you imply he is. We may have to finally use our second time in the time chamber. And yeah, it'll be great. I can finally work on that whole can finally work on, surpassing my, let's just say he calls it his wrath form. My wrath form. No, I think I said he calls it a car. Either way. My insert name here, form. Actually, Goku, that's what I wanted to discuss about. I'd like to save your time in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber for another, maybe near the end. If this Frieza is as strong as I'm being told, you'll need every chance you can get. Wait, till the end? What do you mean? It's like, I have something else in mind with you. I've arranged for you to go and train with King Kai. King Kai, and he explains who King Kai is. The North Kai. He's much stronger than Kami is. I believe his power is somewhere around the 3,000 range, which actually puts him well above, like, Raditz and the other groups, and even Yenma. When well surpassing Kami in terms of power. He can offer you far greater training than I ever could. He's agreed to train you, as he is the guardian of this sector of the galaxy, and it is his job to maintain it. He sees potential in you, Goku, and wishes to try to increase that potential. So Kami's like, oh, sweet, with just me? Yes, Roshi will stay here. I have a matter to discuss with him. And so they agree. They send Goku to Roshi, to King Kai's, and he gets there in an instant, pretty well, not instant, but pretty quick, because Goku had to run there the first time, and then he flew there a second time. No, Goku gets there, and that was a power level of like the low hundreds. Here, Goku's power level is well and truly into like the into the tens of thousands. So Goku gets there in an instant without even going Akari. He meets King Kai, and they discuss, what his training is going to commence, learning the Kaioken, the Spirit Bomb. And Goku also wants to try to, continue on with his, Super Saiyan. Well, obviously it's the Super Saiyan training, but it's the training to achieve that higher form he's been practicing. Goku notes also the gravity is much higher on King Kai's planet than Earth, and say, yes, similar to the hyperbolic time chamber you trained in with your adopted father. My planet's gravity is much tougher than that of Earth's, 10 times, as a matter of fact, same as planet Vegeta, to be completely honest. And so Goku does his training. Now, let's just fast forward near the end where Goku shows back up after his training on King Kai, because he still wants to get some training into the hyperbolic time chamber, and they're sensing when the Saiyan and the Frieza are going to show up, so they can tell they got about a week left. They get back, and Kami is still there. Roshi is also there. The gang's all there, and they've all been training. They also took their extra trip in the hyperbolic time chamber, including Roshi, which at this point now puts Roshi well into the 100,000 range, probably close to, granted, he doesn't have a training partner, but another full year in there and training to the utmost max, easily in the 100,000 mark, at least 150. All the gang is easily in the tens of thousands, high tens of thousands. Tien's probably easily in the 100,000 range as well, being the second strongest human of the group, really, at that time. Krillin's probably more closer to like his his Namek released limiter powers. Chaozu surprisingly is even batting around like a good 5,000, maybe even 10,000 if you really want to push it, but Chaozu still isn't really prepared for this fight per se. Yamcha is also rocking like a 50,000 because he kind of, I think, took it the most serious. Roshi's full power at this point is something around 1 million when he really unleashes it. Keep in mind I am referring to base and Roshi. Raditz is the real interesting part because of his Saiyan DNA and because he's really been focusing on training. His power is right around the same level as Roshi's in base. So that's interesting. Goku's power level when he gets there is right also extremely, because he's trained near a full year there, whereas he did not get that training with King Kai initially. His power is surprisingly not quite anywhere near as high as like Roshi or even like Raditz. He's only around 100,000, but that's the catch, is that he also has his Akari, his Kaioken, now that he's pretty much been able to get all the way to times 20, I think, without too much difficulty. He can maintain a times 20 if he needs to. And he's pretty much gotten Super Saiyan at this point, so he's got that on his belt. But they basically tell him that the time chamber is ready for you when you need it. And so Goku basically goes in, trains for 1 more year, comes out. His power level at this point is 1 million. Base power, I have no doubt saying comfortably, its power is 1 million. So and then what he adds along with that is Kaioken, all that. So they've been all training and preparing, and Roshi just says there's one more thing we need to do. The Dragon Balls will have to be used immediately. He's like, what do you mean they're gonna have to be used immediately? Kami's stepping down as the Guardian, Goku. He's asked me to take over in his stead. It's like, what? What do you mean? Now this is the idea I actually saw from Silent Saiyan, and I gotta admit, it's a good idea that it's plausible that it could happen. But the issue would be that Roshi's youth is back, so he maybe want to be more part of the melee, the frontline fighters. But Kami even says there's really no reason he still can't do that. The reason I didn't do that is because really I got older and I couldn't really keep up at this point, and I had personally just made the vow not to get involved myself. I think that was what Kami's deal was, really. They never really say what it was, but I think that's what it was. But with you, if you need to get involved, then so be it, Roshi. I will pass on all my experience and knowledge to you. Now, here's one of the big things. I don't think Namekian Fusion works unless you're dealing with other Namekians. However, when Kami knows about Namekian Fusion, obviously being a Namekian, and they want to still be able to use the Dragon Balls. So that's what the actual wish is for, that Kami and Roshi fuse together. That way, all of Kami's knowledge and wisdom, being even older than Roshi, and that's actually saying something, that Kami is in fact older than Roshi. But 1 second, how old is Kami? We know how old Roshi is. Roshi's somewhere in the 300 years old range. But I think Kami is like 400? How old is Kami? How old is Kami? Kami. Let's see here. Age. Kami apparently was around 700. No, not age 700. Date of birth, date of death. Okay, there you go. So Kami's date of birth apparently is age 242, and his date of death was 720. It was 62. Dies when Piccolo's killed by Nappa, but he lived longer than that actually, because he lived when he fused with Piccolo into age 767. So really, all you gotta do is minus 242 by 767, and if you do that, you get 524 years old is what Kami's age was. So yeah, he's pretty old. He's a lot older than Roshi. And all that experience and knowledge is very, he's shamed away. So what they do is they just ask, bring Shenron in, fuse with Kami, and they fuse with Kami. Now they do ask the question immediately. It's like, wouldn't that if Roshi were to die, wouldn't that make it dangerous? If the Frieza and his forces destroy this planet, the Dragon Balls existing will not matter at all. Besides, the fusion shell should give Roshi a boost in his power, as well as the wisdom I carry with him. It's like, we've discussed this, Goku. Well, I wasn't keen on the idea. We discussed it. We discussed the way that it's going to work. It's for the best, Goku. It's like, well, Dad, look at you now. An old pervert man on the island when I met you, and now look at you. Oh, shut up, boy. It's like, I'm still your dad. I'm still your dad no matter what. You still got to show me respect. Ow, Dad. And they all have a bit of a laugh. So before Goku goes in, they summon Shenron. They already gathered Dragon Balls, and they fuse Kami and Roshi. Now, Roshi, I think, did make a stipulation. Hey, I just want to keep my looks, if that's okay. So they fuse together. Now, what would the boost be? Remember, it is going to be true Namekian Fusion in this case. It's a magic-based fusion. But I do think there's an increase on Kami's power and everything, Kami's power and Roshi's power, all that. Rokami, I guess you could say. We are neither. I suppose I should have a new name. I'm probably still going to call you Roshi if you're honest, because let's be honest, they still called Piccolo, even though he's technically the original Namekian at that point. Roshi's power, I think you could still get an idea of that Roshi's power would still like kind of double-ish at that point, where it being 300 grand in his base, and now his full power is probably something more akin to 3 million or something like that, and he can pretty much just maintain it. Except I think one of the things he gains from Kami is now, even though it's the full buff power, he uses a slimmed down version of it that he's able to maintain. Think kind of like, weirdly enough, to use another shonen example, One Piece is Luffy's Gear 4 form, where he's got Bouncing Bone Man, and he's got Snake Man. So I think it's something kind of akin to that. Now, they are all preparing, and eventually Frieza and his forces arrive. However, Goku's actually there to meet them, in the atmosphere, and they actually see him there. And Frieza actually goes, "Oh, I must admit, this is quite not many people meet me head forward. Tell me, how are you? Tell me, you must be Kakarot, is that right?" It's like, "I am Goku of Earth, though apparently my Saiyan name was Kakarot." "Oh, I see. Very good. Oh, I see you've done pretty well for yourself. Now tell me, were you the one who was able to beat Vegeta and Nappa within an inch of his life?" "Well, I probably could have done it on my own, but that was actually my friend's." "Oh, I see." And they basically, because I always bring this up, but it stands to be repeated, that Frieza had to have had immense scouting technology on his ship. The scouters themselves could only pick up so high of a power level before breaking, but Frieza knew for a fact that his power level in the second form was over 1 million. Now, the only way he'd know that is if he had a way to read that. Oh, excuse me. Or if he had something that read his base power level and he knew that his second or his most suppressed power level, or if he's sorry, I'm sorry, Spider-Man Far From Home is on the Air channel. I'm like, I kind of want to watch. I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm trying to finish this out. Or if he knew what his the suppressed power level was, and he then knew that his second form was like double that, maybe that, but still, he must have some high level scanning technology on the ship. So they're able to pick up a lot of the power levels. Most of them are suppressed, like, oh yes, we're picking up your power levels on there, but of course you're suppressing them, aren't you? So Goku is like, that may possibly. Look, we're gonna offer you this one chance. Leave now or never come back. You're not in a position to bargain, are you? Or are you? Are you after all in a position to bargain? After all, you were strong enough to beat Vegeta and Nappa, even in their 8 forms. That is no small feat, monkey. But perhaps we should talk about this on your surface. And Goku is standing his ground, kind of Bardock style. And Frieza is looking at this, and he is getting flashbacks. There's like, you actually remind me of someone. I feel like I'm having deja vu. You tell me, are you aware of a Saiyan known as Bardock? And it's like, apparently, well, Raz did say that was our father, so you're his offspring. Oh, would you like to know how your father died? He died ranting and raving that Frieza was going to destroy your filthy monkeys. And none of his compatriots believed him at all. It was so funny, particularly because he was right. And then he stood right where you were standing, albeit over Planet Vegeta, of course, and he threw a massive little blue ball at me. It was adorable and quite the power booster, really. And do you know how I repaid him for his honesty? I blew him and your planet up. So tell me, Goku. To be fair, I like that name for you better, Goku. Rolls up the tongue more, really. I so despise the Saiyan names. Why must you all be named after vegetables, really? What will you do if I were to do the same thing? And Frieza just holds up the little energy death ball there, and everyone is on the planet, on the ship. Vegeta and Nappa are watching, and they both got Zenkais. Nappa's around like a 10,000. And obviously Vegeta's at his cannon power level of 24,000. And Goku's just like, if you really want to do that, you can try, but you'll lose. Oh, we've got a big talker, don't we? Well, I think I've learned all I need to know about you and your planet and your friends. So, bye-bye. So then, why don't we... So, the old saying then, Goku. Those who don't heed the history are doomed to repeat it. And then, he launched the death ball. However, he launched it and he sees it. After a while, he sees the death ball stop. Goku's power in base form right now is 1 million. So he's almost twice as strong as Frieza is. So he can actually just... I don't think he could one-arm a death ball. In Super Saiyan or Akari or Kagen, yeah, he can one-arm the death ball. But even in base, he can just boom, boom, and just blast right there. It's like, and it hits the ship. It's like, everyone get out. Everyone who can gets out before the damn ship blows up. Nappa and Vegeta are get out. But a lot of this Frieza's voice like, and Frieza's like, I see. So you are definitely not the same as the rest of them. And he gets out of that, and he realizes, because he's not stupid. He has seen he has seen combat before. He's just not an experienced fighter, really. He has seen think words here. He has an idea of how to handle himself battlefield, and he can basically sense that He can not sense energy per se, but he can tell that if this guy were able to actually manhandle that death ball like that, he's got to be at least twice. He's got to be very strong. So Frieza tells you, since you're as powerful as you are, since your power seems to be so great, I'm going to basically say, I'll give you a little show, and a little piece of information I don't share with everyone. This form you see here is not my true form. My true power is so great that it needs to be suppressed. I'll show you a little bit of it. And he's like, yeah! That's better. Yes. So, what say you, Goku? I say you're going to be a good sparring partner. And then, Nappa, the rest of you, go and invade the planet. I'll deal with this upstart little monkey who doesn't know his place. And Goku just stay there. Not going to stop them, are you? I don't need to. they can handle. They can handle themselves. And then it's basically what happened like when the Frieza Force was invading. They had numbers, but that was really all they had. Even Chaozu was kind of like really, taking a lot of them out. And is really dishing out. Roshi and Raditz are they're doing their part, but now it's Goku and Frieza facing off, and Goku, they're now pretty much even, but Goku is the far better fighter, so they are just easily able to kind of like keep up with each other. You're strong, Goku, but are you strong enough? Go into my third form, and do you think you can handle this? And it is stronger than Goku now, but Goku immediately just puts a Kaioken or even times 2, and he's able to immediately just boom take him out again. I see, and after more fighting, he eventually goes into his final form, and Goku and him are just now squaring off. Goku again is on the back foot a little bit, but Goku is able to easily counter it, going into Akari this time because he knows that low-level Kaioken really doesn't matter at this point, and he can do it times 20 if he needs to. And Akari's already at times 10 because Goku's smart enough to know how strong his multipliers are. So he's just, he's easily beating the shit out of Frieza. You filthy little monkey, I will have my vengeance on you. And say, I don't know what you're talking about. You're a threat to this planet. If you're not going to go, then I'll end you. Kame! And Frieza's powering up. Kame! And then, Goku just... And Frieza isn't done powering up. He was trying to get to 50%, obviously. But Goku stepped him out halfway. Unfortunately, halfway is still a quarter of his power. Or, actually, about 50%. So, yeah, a quarter of his power. So that's still 30 million. And he's still... It's still hurt for. He's like, oh, you are dead. You are dead, monkey. And he starts wailing on Goku hard. Like, Goku is now very much on the back foot. And to think you were all this bluster. But after, I'm not even at full. I meant to get to 50% of my power, monkey. You only stopped me at a quarter. And you can't even compare. What will you do now? And say, show you what I can really do. And what is... What? Powers up the Super Saiyan. Just, and everyone can sense the power increase up in the atmosphere. This was like, whoa, what does Goku do? I don't know, but I've never sensed anything like this before. And obviously Goku and him now go toe-to-toe one more time, except now it's like Goku is completely just wailing on Frieza. Like the disparity between the power is the same as what Frieza's was with Goku prior. And so, wait, you want a real fight? I can show you what true power is like. And Goku stops and does consider it. But unlike with our canon version of Goku, this version of Goku actually was raised by Roshi, someone like Roshi, who knows what happens when you let when you allow a tyrant to become too powerful, because he was around for King Piccolo the first time. It's like, no, I can't let you do that, Frieza. As much as I'd like to see it, I know better than let monsters grow stronger. It's like, Frieza knows he can't power up in time for this. So it's like, he just launches like the strongest attack he can at the moment while trying to power up, and Goku just overwhelms. It's like, and Frieza's just struggling, and Goku just immediately it doesn't answer transmission, but he just kind of like appears right behind Frieza, just boom, just another energy blast right behind him. So now Frieza's basically got this, and he's getting hit in the back just with a full powered energy blast. And just sandwiched him, and there's pretty much not much more than smoldering ash in the atmosphere. As Goku just, is like, it sucks. I really would have liked to fight him. And so he went, and then he goes back down. Because Kami, Roshi, and Kinkai all would have instilled that in him. And because he was raised by Roshi, I think he actually wouldn't have gone that route. And he would have actually killed Frieza at this point. They go down. The Frieza forces are all taken care of. Nappa and Vegeta are kind of like, on their knees. And it's belittling to Vegeta on a huge level. Was I can't do anything. Damn it all. I warned you before what would happen if you came here, Vegeta. And he's holding his hand up. And he's here again. It's like, what was that power you used, Kakarot? Because he's not in Super Saiyan right now. It's like, you want to see what that power was? The power I discovered, and he powers up the Super Saiyan. Just, it's like, and even, what is he, Vegeta? It can't be. And he realizes what Goku is, and then he starts laughing. You did it, didn't you? Frieza's dead, isn't he? He's dead. You killed him. To think the legends came true after all. If only they had been through me. It doesn't matter though. You did it, Kakarot. You became it. The legendary Super Saiyan. Frieza's dead at the hands of a Saiyan after all. I may die, but I can die with some peace knowing that Frieza's dead. And Goku's looking at him like, he's just looking at him like, you can tell Vegeta has kind of always been like this, but he is a bit of a victim of circumstance too. He's like, and he just powers out, let him go. What? It's like, let them go. It's like, I can tell you aren't always quite like this. Frieza did this to you on some level. So I'm giving, this is going to be the last chance. Come back here again and all bets are off. Right. Of course. Of course, you blew up the ship, so we might need some time to arrange new travel, of course, Kakarot. We'll figure something out. And they work with Bulma to basically make the gravity chamber ship. They make the Capsule Corp ship. And, Bulma says, like, it's kind of making this for you guys, but to train it also. And she explains the gravity training. And Nappa and Vegeta here, there's like, gravity training? That's interesting. But, I mean, I guess I can make, if it's to get these guys off the planet, sure, why not? I guess I can always make that'd be cool. So, ultimately, because they do still have Goku's old Saiyan pod. There's only room for one of them, but that's what she based the designs off of. So ultimately they leave, and now they have a gravity chamber training in for a while. So yeah, there's that. They leave, but ultimately, the day is saved. Roshi is now the new Guardian. The Dragon Balls still work because he's fused with Kami, but because he's so much stronger than Kami now, the Dragon Balls are a lot more potent. The wishes they can grant a lot more excessive, and the amount of wishes, I'd say the amount of wishes are probably up to 3, I'll be honest. I think they could honestly get 3 wishes out of Shenron at this point. Yeah, that is part 6 of What If Roshi Adopted Goku. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.